Thank you. Hi, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about tools to have, sorry, tools to have an interactive experience. Please join the following link with the chat. We can start in the working together. Right. Now, please log in with Google account and write the pin in the screen. Ready? Yes. Are we ready? Okay. Podemos poner el link del Peer Deck. Okay. Right. In this moment, open the Bitly. Now, please log in with Google account and write the pin on the screen.
Okay, I'm gonna continue pasting the link once you start, Ms. Tere. I already pasted the live link so they can directly be directed, so we don't have that problem, okay? So we can start. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll keep putting the link.
Ready. Now, let's start with our first activity. Create a basic slide to present ourselves, just like we do on our first day of classes. We have a minute to create a Google slide, PowerPoint, Keynote, etc. For example, I am Teresa Mendoza, I live in Puebla, I love chocolate, right? It's super easy. 1 minute to create slides for you.
I'm a little confused. Where do we present? Where do we create our slide? Because I'm seeing the Peer Deck.
Okay, please, sorry. You're not gonna show us your slide just now. We're gonna give you a resource to upload it later. So please feel comfortable to use whatever resource you normally use to create your slides.
Okay, great.
You can do it on a PowerPoint, a Google Slides, or a Keynote. Okay.
Thanks. Let's continue. Okay. The presentation are a web resource that we use like an aid to motivate our student in the learning process. For example, in the slides. And you can see, next slide, please. And you can see, thank you, an interactive activities. And you can see in this activity, which consists in asking a student to choose the correct answer. Thank you. Now, we are include Bitmojis in our presentation to increase the interaction with our students. For example, in the students, you are select the URL. The URL is false or true, is real or fake. In this moment, you select your checks. An example of the that are the student virtual class, where in a single space we have more than resource about the same topics. For further details, if you can have any question, please here in the register them, and we'll answer them at www.googleclass.com/livecurious2021. They write in the chat. Now, let's listen to Bárbara Ramírez with tips and tools that can be very useful in her classes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tere. Well, what Ms. Tere just showed you is things or tools that we have seen a lot now that a lot of teachers are using as resources for their classes. We came from what we did when we were before the pandemic, when we were presenting in front of class and maybe giving some activities. Then we moved into an online situation in which we needed to transform a couple of things here. So we started creating digital resources and interactive activities. One of those that is very common nowadays is to transform Google Slides into interactive activities. So you might be thinking, what is this all about? What are we talking about if we talk about tools to make an interactive experience, okay? So the key element or the key word that we want to use today is transformation. Our idea here today is to give you all these resources, tools, and experience that we have had in, especially during this year, in order for you to transform these Google Slides that we already use or these elements that we already use and create a more dynamic experience that we can use not only now that we're online or in hybrid models, but also once we go back to our classrooms, we can keep using technology in these different ways in order to involve our students into our class, not only by paying attention to what we see, but also to actually be part of our classes. So that's why we created this, in order for you to try to create, we're gonna try to help you create an interactive work, community, experience, class, activity, okay? We're trying to modify and transform everything you already have. We're not talking about doing anything new. It's just transforming what you already have into a new idea, into creating an interactive experience. So let's go to the first task, okay? The first tip that we have for you today. Now it's important for you to know that these tips are based on experience and also on a lot of things that we have talked with other teachers that are needed nowadays. So the first tip that I have for you is to make them move, especially now that we have our students sitting in front of a computer for hours and hours and hours. It's very important for them to feel that they can move from it, because sometimes they feel that they cannot move, okay? That they cannot like even wink. So it's important for us to let them and give them the freedom to move, especially since we need them to be more oxygenated. It gives them a little bit more energy to work the rest of the class. So getting students out of their seats is part of the plan. Okay, it's not against the plan, it's part of the plan, it's part of the idea, it's part of the objective. This is an example. I want to give you an example of one thing I actually did in my class. I teach science, math, and research methodology. And one of my science classes is chemistry. And I was teaching quantum theory. That is a little bit odd and abstract and a little bit hard for a lot of, especially students in high school. So what I did was, in the middle of my class, in between slides and in between parts of the topic, I was letting them, I was asking for them to go around their houses and actually look for specific things, like a watch or a sphere, a cord, different stickers, okay? And then at the end of the class, I told them to make a representation of the concepts we saw in class, but with those objects. So actually making them move and go around, allow them to break a little bit of the dynamic. And then they were very excited, trying to be creative at the end. And this was the activity for the class. So we were focusing a lot of things first. Not only the fact that we're relating normal day things to actual abstract concepts, but also the fact that in order for them to represent the concepts, they needed to understand them. So it allowed us not only to make them move and make the dynamics different, but also to make them understand and show us their creativity through this, okay? And this is one of the topics that is not normally used this way. So this is one of the examples of how I made them move during the class, 1 minute for each thing. So it only took me around 5 minutes out of my entire class to do this, but they were actually very involved and excited. Now for you, now it's your turn. We would like you to, please, again, we're gonna give you 1 minute. We would like you, remember that the slide you created before was presenting yourself with words. We would like you to take a selfie right now. anywhere you want. If you want to stand up and take the selfie, if you want to stay in there, that's perfect. We choose what fits you best, but we would like you to take a selfie that represents you as a person, as a teacher, as a dad, a mom, whatever you want to express as you part of yourself. Please take that selfie, keep it on your phone or your computer or your tablet, whatever you're using to take that selfie. That's perfect. If you want to take a screenshot of the camera, how you look like right now, whatever you want, get up, move around, showcase whatever you think is representing you as a person now. Okay, so hopefully most of you already took it. I see some empty spaces, so I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds more. I see people coming back. Thank you for those of you allowing me to see your cameras. This is very important for me so I can see how I can interact with you. Okay, so now that we have done this, okay, now we have a slide and we take a selfie. Let's go to the next tip. The second tip that we have today is let them make it their own. Now we're used to give them assignments in which they just need to type down the answers or solve things in a notebook and maybe take a picture and upload it as evidence of their work. Okay, this is one practice that we do a lot, especially now that we are online. But how can we transform that one? Because sometimes what happens is that students just feel that they're just doing things aside of a computer and that's it. Like they are with the computer instead of being part of something. So how to make it their own? Give them, this is my suggestion, this is tip number 2, give them the basics that you want them to learn and challenge them to transform them into something, giving it their own touch. Here are some examples of what we have done. For example, in here, students had, I gave students the title and just this brief description. I gave them a series of Google slides, okay? And each slide had a title and part of the topic that I wanted for them to learn that day. And I challenged them to go around their house and look for somehow, be creative, somehow represent with a picture what I'm telling you in here. So for example, in here, this girl, what she did was she took some Fruit Loops and then she wrote in her cell phone on top of them to explain the peptide bond. Here is an example I did for math, for example. In here, they were challenged to look for a staircase at their home somehow, and then measure and talk about the run and the rise of the staircase in their home. Now, particularly, I'm showing you this one, especially because this girl was in a one-floor house. So she didn't have a staircase. So what she did is she grabbed a couple of things she had in her desk, and she created the staircase in order to be able to actually solve the problem. So allowing them to do this makes them understand the concepts, transform it, and it also allows me to see their point of view. How are they understanding my concepts in a more interactive and dynamic way, instead of just asking them to give me the numbers at the end? Okay, so that allows them to make these slides or these presentations or these concepts part of their own notes, instead of just me giving them the notes or the information or the recordings. So we're interacting and I'm seeing what they're doing and they are completing what I asked them. So it's like back and forth during the class. And this was all the class. I just gave them examples and then they were doing their things on their own. And I was able, the good thing about most of the tools that we're seeing now is that we are able to see how they're working in real time. For example, Google Slides, you can start seeing the Google Slides as they paste the pictures or answer them. In PureDeck, the one that we're using here with you for the presentation, you're able to see what they're answering and doing in real time. You can talk about it during the class. So it's like you're there with them and they're with you, okay? It's an interaction instead of just, okay, I'll see it, check it, and send you the feedback later. So it's like more back and forth, and that's part of the interactivity we're looking for. So I'm not going to give you time right now to do this because you're going to have, like, after the workshop, you can upload your examples. So, but I would like to ask you now, with your turn, Remember that selfie that you took and that original slide that you created? I would like you to use that selfie to illustrate that slide. Insert the selfie into the slide. And now we're creating not a slide with a Bitmoji. That is cool. Bitmojis are cool. Or a slide with a picture that we got from internet. But it's actually a slide that represents me as a person. So it makes a little bit more human, a little bit more real, the things we are creating. Okay, so that would be like the next task in order to give it your touch. At the end, I'm gonna show you where you can share with us, if you want to, your slides so we can all see your examples. Okay, now let's move into tip number 3 because we don't have that much time, and I wanna, you might see, I wanna point out that this is a little bit intense. There's normally what I would do with my kids because it's like too much. But we know that we only have 1 hour for you, and we want to give you as many resources, experiences, and examples as we can, so you can use them and hopefully take away at least one thing that you might apply to your classes later. So sorry if it's a little bit more intense, but hopefully it works out. Okay, it pays off. So tip number 3: involve them throughout the whole class. Now, some models make us do things like we present and then we make them do things. And that's like half and half of my class. Or the entire class is for them to complete a task. Or the entire class sometimes involves me talking all the time. It depends on the subject, the topic, the content, the structure. Okay? So how do we actually involve them? Not just by making them see us, but actually being part of it. We have different resources. You are using one of them. This is one of my favorites, actually. It hasn't been that much time since I've used it, but I certainly have used every single part of it for now. Like, I really liked it. Peer Deck has single thing that we're seeing now has a free version, and a lot of them have a premium version, okay? But we're showing you everything, but you will have free versions of everything, so you can actually at least start exploring them. So now this one, tip number 3 would be to work short interactive activities every couple of minutes, okay? So you can change the dynamic of the group. And I'm not talking about just presenting and then asking them questions. I'm talking about then actually doing things that you can see in the middle of the class, like separating the class in parts and do one part and then making them do something and then continue with your class. That changes the dynamic, because another thing that we all know is that students, and depending on the age, but all students, like from preschool to high school, certainly have attention spans that are not 60 minutes or 45 minutes long, right? They get distracted and all of the things. So if we change the dynamics and just ask them to pay attention a little bit, then do something, then come back, it's like giving them a break without actually giving them the break. So that's the key. So this is your moment to do this. I would like you please I'm giving you 3 minutes to draw yourselves. You should be able to draw in the presentation that you opened in the link that we gave you. So I would like you to try to draw yourselves or something that represents you here in this little part. Don't worry. Anyways, at the end, I'm going to change this presentation into a student pace mode. That means that you can access it later and go back and forth between the slides however you want, okay? I'm not opening that right now just because I want to guide you a little bit. But at the end, you're going to be able to come back and complete if you want to complete it, or just re-access everything that I'm showing you. You're going to have full and complete access to this presentation later. So I would like to start showing some responses. Now, one thing that is cool about Peer Deck is that I can show responses without names, but I can show them in real time. So let's see. This is one of the drawings. Beautiful pink dress. I also like pink and purple. The hair, perfect. Now, some tools like this one are actually easier to use in phones and tablets, but you can still use them in the computer, okay? Oh, I love this one. Oh, this is very artistic. So another thing that I think that another session already talked a lot about Peer Deck, so I'm not gonna talk that much about it. But another cool thing from Peer Deck, if you have the premium, now this is the premium version, the educator's premium version, but you have access to a dashboard that allows you to show the answers and also to send feedback and put stars and stuff like that in the to the students. So it's back and forth feedback in real time. Oh, pretty cool. Oh my God, I love this one. Very energetic. I can see the energy coming from this picture. Very cool. A little bit more abstract, but very, I mean, this looks very cool. Oh, perfect. Someone is actually like working right now. Amazing. Okay, we still have like 1 more minute. Again, later on, I'm gonna open it so you can come back and read and complete your drawing if you want to, okay? No, what are you saying? I'm pretty sure this is an amazing drawer, especially if you're drawing in a computer. This is great. Coffee. Yeah, that defines me a lot too. I'm up with you in that one. Oh, beautiful. Eyelashes, pretty cool. Oh, hard. Okay, so let's continue. Again, at the end, I will allow you to go back if you want to draw a little bit more. So, as you saw, I gave some explanations. I allowed you to do an activity, and then I'm going back to my presentation. In the same place, you have the access to the same thing. We haven't moved from here, okay? But we have changed the dynamic more than once up to now. So let's move to the next one. The fourth tip, and this is the one that I like the most, and this is the one that I use the most. Obviously, it depends on how comfortable you are with the technology you're using. It might require from you a little bit more effort in terms of time to get to know the tools, etc. But it depends on you, okay? It's totally your decision how and what to use here. So number 4 would be mix and match resources. And I'm not going to explain that much in here because I want to show you a video later. But in general, what we're talking about is to choose the best option for each class. Now, not only for you as a person, because sometimes we just, okay, I like Google Slides, so I'm going to use Google Slides forever. No? And sometimes what we're teaching is not the best with Google Slides. Like Google Slides is not the best option for that. Or maybe I'm going to do that and write a movable Google Slide for activity, because that's what I'm comfortable with and that's the thing I really know how to do. But maybe if we think about it as a student, maybe it's not the more easy way to do it for this particular topic, okay? So it depends on what's best for the class. And mix the options and fuse them if needed. You don't need to use only one option during the entire thing, okay? You can also use different options in the same class, okay? And now we're gonna see examples, and this is the one I like the most because it's the one that takes a little bit better. So for what I want you to know, please, is access Kahoot Eat. If you haven't used it, if you have the app in your phone, if you have the app in your tablet, great. If you don't, you can just click on top of this link in your presentation, the one that you're accessing, that it will take you there. And we're gonna open a little Kahoot, and I'm gonna show you, if you don't know exactly what it does, I'm gonna show you how Kahoot Premium Plus looks like, okay? So here is the ID. You need to go to kahoot.it and please put on this ID. I know. I normally turn off sometimes I turn off the volume just because I think it hurts like what I'm saying, but my students go like, we need the music, like it's not Kahoot without the sound. So I just move it around and do that. Okay, so it's like, anyways, if they don't feel like comfortable, you can always lower down the volume of your computer. So that's okay. So we have 4 people here. I'm gonna wait a little bit more.
Just while we're waiting, I think it's funny, your Bitmoji in the lower corner there looks like you're hanging.
Yeah, it looks like I'm hanging, right? The particularity here is that I cannot choose how my Bitmoji shows. I can just choose if it shows or not. So Kahoot didn't like me today, apparently, because it wants to hand me somehow, but I thought it was funny, so it's part of it. Thanks for the comment. Thank you for like noticing it. Yeah, Luz, we have the password. We're gonna give you the password for the resources at the end because I want to show them to you first, and then you can access with it. And we're actually gonna be removing the password after the talk today, okay? But we wanted to like explain a little bit more on that part because that's one of the tips that we're gonna use. So we didn't want it to give you spoilers about the presentation. Okay, so let's start. So the first thing we're gonna be seeing now is, if you see it says no need to answer, it's actually a slide. Yes, Kahoot has slides too. And if you didn't know that, you can create them in Google Slides, download it as PDF and insert them in Kahoot, and that would be it, okay? They show exactly the way you want it. So it's really, really, really interesting and fun. And the next part that I'm gonna show you is please pay attention to the next video. Pay attention because there are questions coming after the video, okay? Mix and match your resources. One thing that might make our classes a little bit monotonous is the fact that sometimes we marry with 1 or 2 tools and it's difficult for us to change them. It is important to give variety not only to our content, but to the dynamics of the class. That's why we like to mix different resources and match them accordingly to our class and content needs. There are many sites like Genially and extensions like PeerDeck that help you embed and link all your resources together. This is very important, so you can add what you see fit for each part of your class, and students will be able to follow you in the process instead of just listening and trying to pay attention. Don't be afraid to try. You are capable of going beyond and more. Okay, so hopefully you paid attention because now there's a question. Quiz question. Which of the following is an extension? Yes, PeerDeck is an extension. Genially is a site. Next. Very good. We're starting to see it coming. Type your answer. Now you're gonna type your answer. The video you saw was made with the site name My Simple. Let's see if you paid attention to that part. My simple show. Actually, that's a good tool to create videos really fast, okay? We're gonna give it to you later, don't worry. Next, last question. Let's see who wins now. Puzzle. Now, this puzzle means that you're gonna arrange the colors correctly. Order the tips we have seen up to now according to the order we saw in the session. Okay, 5644. We talked about making them move, let them make things their own, involving them through the entire class, and mix and match your resources, okay? So let's see the podium. Third place, we have Mariana. Congratulations, a lot of attention paid. Perfect. And great. And first place is for Mariana P or Mariana I. It depends on where you come from. So congratulations. Thank you for participating in the Kahoot. Let's go back to our presentation for now. Now we go back to the peer deck, okay? Okay, so now that we saw an example on how to involve students with slides and different tools, this is Kahoot, that is one version. We also have Peer Deck, we also have Genially. Those are three resources that are very good to insert different things into them. So you can have slides, videos, questions, interactivity, okay? Let's move to the fifth section, that is gonna be add digital exit tickets. Now, and here is where like the goods come, okay? We are used to do exit tickets. Exit tickets have been something that a lot of people is talking about right now. These little things that allow you to see if the students understood what was said during the class, etc. But sometimes a lot as teachers, we use these exit tickets just in a non-interactive form. What do I mean? We give them a problem or a question and we ask them to answer them in Google Docs or in a private messaging classroom, or to solve the exercise in their notebooks and upload the picture to Classroom, okay? Those are very good digital resources and they're very good in as interactive activities. But now we're gonna see what I'm talking about when I say add digital exit tickets. We talk about creating simple and fun activities, because this is the difference, guys, in exit tickets. If the activity is fun, the student is gonna be engaged and he or she are gonna be wanting to make it perfect. Like if it's a game and I score 8 out of 10, I'm gonna go back and try to get the 10 out of 10. But if it's just like turning in things, I'm just done and turning it and that's it. So getting them involved in this allows us to do this through these simple and fun activities. How do we do that? And here is where the comments come from. And I think Luz was asking for the password. Please, here is the link to the resources. You can also access this link directly on the Live Curious site. This is the link we have for the resources. The password we're using right now is LCGV 2021. I removed it, but you can directly click on top, like in your presentation, you can click on top of the link and that would be it, okay? I'm gonna go there. Okay, so this is a microsite created on Genially. Genially has options for you to create presentations in normal presentation mode, in which you move from one slide to the other with arrows. It allows you to create video presentations in which each slide is like with time, or it allows you to create these little microsites that are very interesting, very fun, and very easy to create. This is that's why Ms. Tere and I love this tool a lot. So please click here on the arrows to access the contents. And now we're gonna have these options, okay? If you click in here, you're gonna be sent to the same presentation you're using right now on Peer Deck. Here you have a little bit of explanation on what is each of them. And if you hover over the info part, it's gonna explain you how to move through that particular section, okay? So here is the presentation. So if you ever wanna go back here, you can click in here and it will open directly. And since you logged with your Google account, all the things you already did in here are saved. So your drawing, you're gonna be able to go back and see the same drawing over again and fix it, the same one, okay? It's not opening a new session, it's the same. And now we're gonna go, these are the activities that I suggest or that we have done, some of them that we have done as exit tickets for the classes. So if you please follow me into the activities part. Here we have 6 options, okay? Now, we have a lot more resources, but I want you to experience these in a student mode. So I've created a word wall on the information I gave you in today's session, a TED lesson with the video from today and questions that you can complete, a Teachers Pay Teacher digital resource, a live worksheet, a Genially, Mr. created a Genially memory game, and the Kahoot that we just played, but as a challenge. So you can do it on your own later, okay? So what you need to do is just hover on top of the title and click on the link. For example, in here, if I hover in here and click here, it's gonna take me to the word wall. And this one is a hangman, so you can actually play hangman there. If I hover here and click on TED Ed, it's gonna take me to the link. And this is a lesson. It was an entire lesson created by me using my own video. There's tons of things that you can do in TED Ed. They have very cool lessons that you can personalize or customize for your meetings. Okay, in here I uploaded the video that I just showed you for Kahoot, and I opened here the think part, which you answer questions. Okay. The discuss section, if you want to talk to me or like let us know what will you be, if you will be changing something from your classes from what we saw in the session, and you want to share with us what would you change and how and why. And finally, just a brief comment from my part. Okay, so you can access that through the TED Ed part. The Teachers Pay Teachers, this one, I don't know if you know this resource, but this website is amazing, guys. This website is a place where teachers from all over the world upload their resources that they have created, and you can buy them and use them as your own. They have everything: activities, escape rooms, digital, normal, printed, physical, not physical, presentations, summaries, interactive activities. There's tons of things here, okay? Now, you sign in with your Google account as a student just to answer this activity. But if you want to access as a teacher just to see around, it's free to access. It's free to create the digital activities. The only thing that costs are the resources that other teachers sell. So if you want to like buy them, they have different prices depending on the teacher. A lot of them are free too. Okay, so if you want to use that one, that's a great place. This is live worksheets. Now, I don't know how many of you know this one, but I've been loving this. I've actually created online workbooks for my students to answer the live worksheets, and I can actually see what they're doing. So if you click in here, for example, this is one that I created for today. In here, you can, as you see, I have a little pencil, so I can just relate things like this. And here it says drag, so I can just drag things where they belong in theory. And in here I have, for example, drop menus, so I can answer these this way, okay? You can also add text boxes for them to literally type. There, you can upload YouTube videos, audio, your voice recordings, MP3 files, anything. There's a lot of things here, and most of it is free. Okay, it costs a little if you, the free version gives you the option to upload 30 free private worksheets. Okay, but if you want more than 30 and you don't want to pay, you just need to allow them to have them as public, so some other people can access them. Okay, But now they're giving a lot of plans. Like I got a free account just by asking it because I'm a teacher. So a lot of these resources, if you send an email or something like that, they will give you a premium account for free because you're a teacher. The cool thing here, I finish. As a student, I check my answers, and here I know which is wrong, which is right, and my grade. Okay, so it's really fun, and it's, as a teacher, you are able to see it, to grade on top of it, send it back, a lot of things. Here is the Genially. Genially has a lot of resources. It helps to do a lot of different things. But this is a memorama. I'm not going to go there just because of the timing, but you can explore it. And this is the Kahoot we just did, okay? If you click right down in here, you can go back to the previous part. And here is the other section, tools. Now we have compiled a set of all the tools that we normally use here. So if you click on top of them, if you click on the logo, what's going to happen is it's going to take you to the main page of that particular tool. So you can explore, register, whatever you want to do, okay? So this is, we have Wordwall is for activities. This one is the one we're asking you to write your questions in. It's for polls and questions. This one is an online interactive whiteboard in which you can see what students write in their own whiteboards. Obviously Kahoot. This one is to create online quizzes. This is really fun. We use it a lot in our school. TED, we already saw it. My Simple Show, we already saw it. Poll Everywhere is also for polls. Lightboard, you can open it on your phone and write down on your phone or tablet, and it will link directly to a website in your computer. So you can present in your computer or work with your phone, for example. That's another one. Genially, we already saw it. Peer Deck, Mentimeter is also for polls and some questions. We saw in our keynote that they use it, and Teachers Pay Teachers. And for the last one, please, this is where we would like you to share. We created a Jamboard, so we can still use these Jamboards and these resources that we have been using. And we would like you to please open a new page for you and upload here the screenshot of your first slide that you created, and any comments, questions, or anything that you would like to share, other tools that you might use, I'm going to share with the community of this session. Please open your own page and upload anything that you would like to share with the community. That would be great, okay? I'm going to open that, and it's going to be open like forever. I'm not going to close it or anything like that. So if we go back to our presentation, the next slide. Now, if you don't know where this Genially is, you can access the regular presentation, or is the link that you had on the resources on the Live Curious site. Okay, anyways, Ms. Tere, if you can just paste the link again for the presentation and or for the Genially, that would be great. Now, an extra tip, try to finish your class with some sort of poll or anything that allows you to have the feedback of your class. It's always important to be empathetic and like see it the way students do, okay? Super important. So, so for this part, thank you. If you have any questions, Miss, I'm gonna go for the chat if somebody wrote in there, and Miss Tere, I'm gonna leave you to, te dejo presentar el book club. Okay, please upload your selfie to the Google slide, the slide you created at the beginning. Okay, or if you're gonna just upload the selfie directly on the Jamboard, that's great too. So you can share a little bit from you to the rest of us. Okay, Ms. Tere?
I'm sorry, I'm completely lost on where I'm supposed to go to the Jamboard or where I'm put my slide.
Okay, so we created a Jamboard, so you can share whatever you want to share with us, including your slide, your selfie, any comments or questions, tools. The Jamboard, you can access it. There's a link in Genially. in the Gmail we gave you, that's the actual site that you can access with the link of resources. I can paste the link directly of Gmail in here. And there's a place where it says share, okay? So there's the link. You put in the share, it says click here, and then you can access the Jamboard. I'm gonna paste the link to the Gmail in the chat in a few moments, but anyways, it's the same link that you had from the Live Curious site. Oh, thank you for letting me know if it says see view only. Okay, I'll change it in 2 seconds. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. At the beginning, we have a little bit of trouble with the live links. It was a little bit hard, but then we pasted it. Okay. If you want to keep going, this is we'll clap. We open it. If you had any questions, I'm gonna go in the chat just to see if there's anyone with questions. I don't know, Eva, if you need to like.
We still have 9 more minutes.
Yes. If you wanna like, if we can open it directly for questions out loud.
Yes, anyone can unmute themselves. They can unmute.
Okay, so does anyone has any questions that we can help with?
I don't know if I'm typing the password in wrong to Genially or if you took it off.
Okay, let me do one thing. I'm just gonna go and completely remove the password part to make it easier for you, okay? Give me 2 seconds and I will work on that so you don't have problems with the password section anymore.
Hi, girls. The Jamboard, it's with the lock.
Yeah, 2 seconds. I'm gonna open the lock now. You know, technology, we need to be prepared. We were prepared, but always skip. But it's always good. Like I have these same situations when my students say, like, teacher, I can't access. Okay, give me 2 seconds, I'll fix it right now. And they're like, yeah, sure, don't worry. And it's part of the dynamics also. So thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna open it so I can directly do this. Anybody else has any questions or any particular thing that you want to know about the resources that we gave you?
If you could, I would appreciate sharing your email so that if we have, as we dig deeper into these resources, if I need any help or want to guide my team, that'd be helpful. I appreciate it.
Sure, we'll be glad if it's all right. We'll type them down in the chat. Also, maybe you want to know, the resource, but you want some examples on how we have used it in our classes, so we can do that also. Miss Tere, you need to unlock the Jamboard because you were creating it. Can you do that? Miss Tere, ¿puedes desbloquear el Jamboard, por favor, porque lo creas tú?
Está listo.
Perfecto. Yeah, I can see people accessing. Thank you very much. And I'm just gonna be removing the password from the Gmail so we can actually open it for everyone now. Any other questions that you would like us to answer or anything that you would like to share with the rest of the group?
Just to comment, I really appreciate your modeling here, even with some of the complications. I think we can always learn from discomfort. I think you did a wonderful job presenting in such a small space with so many resources. And I'm looking at the comments, thanks for sharing the resources. So I just want to verbalize that, and I'm definitely going to recreate my classroom. I've already got some ideas. So I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Mark. This feedback is always great for us. It's our objective is always to share and hopefully help you. So if we did that, then that's it for us. Thank you very much. Anyone else wants to share or say something? Thank you. Hopefully you can use them and they're helpful. If you need any more guidance, I just wrote my email in the chat. And everything, the presentation and every other resource is directly on the Genially, okay? So the Genially is directly accessed through the link that you have on the Live Curious site, where it says link to resources. You can click there, it will take you to the Genially, and you can access the presentation, tools, activities, everything in there, every single thing. I'm still trying just to open it with the removing the password. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so can you please all try? I think, Mark, you were having problem with the password. Can you refresh your screen to see if you can access it without a password, please?
I'm in. Thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. So if there are no more questions, we would like to thank every one of you for being here, for interacting with us. Hopefully we helped you and you are able to apply these concepts and these tools to your classes. Miss Tere?